Marcus soared through the air, cheering gleefully. The sense of victory from having saved all those people filled him with joy. He remembered the smiles on their faces and how they cheered for him. It was an unmistakable feeling he could not easily move on from. He felt a sense of accomplishment, a sense of needing to help the people of New York. After all, he loved the city. There was no way he could ever let anything bad happen to it. He swung by his apartment quickly, sailing through the window the same way he had gone out, quickly grabbing a change of clothes and a duffel bag before jumping straight back out the window. A short while later, he stopped near a park, looking in every direction to ensure the coast was clear. It was a smaller park, and therefore made it easier for there not to be many people around. He descended until he came to a soft landing on the green grass. He knelt and removed his outfit, quickly stuffing it into the duffel bag and removing the clothes from within. He threw on his beige cargo pants and his striped, short-sleeved shirt in order to look the part. After he put on his running shoes, he hardly had any time to check himself and ensure he looked presentable. He gently brought the zipper back across the bag as he returned his strength to a more controlled state. In his daily life as Marcus Newton, he was more mindful of his strength, carefully monitoring every move he made. He always showed restraint in front of his friends, never presenting his abilities to anybody he cared about other than his parents. Regardless, he knew better and would never reveal his identity. He knew it was too risky, and it was something he wasn't willing to take a chance on. He threw the strap of the bag over his shoulder, draping it across his chest. As he left the park, he quickly removed the glow from his eyes as he made his way straight into the crowded New York City sidewalks. As chaotic as they were, Marcus wasn't bothered by it. Most things people complained about, Marcus never saw an issue with. He always thought complaining about trivial matters was simply a waste of time. He gently shoved his way through the crowded sidewalk, and before he knew it, he found himself at the street corner, catching a glimpse of his friends sitting on the bar stools positioned right against the window of the cafe. He pushed the door open, sending a satisfying bell chime echoing throughout the quiet coffee shop. Despite the commotion outside, the shop maintained a quiet and comfortable atmosphere. At the sound of the bell, his friends turned to see him, raising their arms to wave him over. "About time you showed up. We thought you got lost or something," Jack said. "I'm not surprised." Ariel's soft-spoken but harsh words cut into him. She wasn't demeaning him by any means, but unlike Jack, she wasn't used to Marcus's tardiness. Of course, he would never be able to tell either of them why he was always late, but he had gotten quite used to coming up with excuses. Neither Jack or Ariel seemed to mind whether they were good or not. He often wondered what they really thought he was doing, but he figured it was best not to dwell on the issue. "Sorry, guys," Marcus spoke as he pulled out the stool next to Ariel. "Traffic's crazy out there." "You don't drive?" Ariel spoke as she tilted her head in confusion. "You know what I meant. Pedestrian traffic," said Marcus as he stuffed the duffel bag under the table, hoping to keep it out of sight as much as possible. "Whatever you say." Ariel dismissed his ridiculous notion, bringing a sly smile to the corner of her lips. "Well, it doesn't matter." Jack rapidly typed away on his larger-than-usual laptop, adjusting his glasses as his eyes darted up and down the screen. "All that matters is what we're going to do for our summer vacation." Marcus leaned on the small desk, staring into the computer screen. Jack had written up a document that contained a plethora of summer-oriented activities. Whether he intended to do all of them with Marcus and Ariel was uncertain, but he certainly intended to do them, one way or another. "What's all this?" He realized how obvious the question was the moment he spoke it. "I mean, I know what it is, but why show us? A guy can't show his friends a bunch of things he wants to do this summer?" Jack spoke with a slight sneer as he briefly scratched his shaggy red hair. "Well, of course you can." Marcus spoke as if it were a matter of fact. "It's just, I told you I would be busy this summer. You're busy every summer, Jack pointed out. Why can't you lighten up and just hang out with us for a summer? It gets boring without you. Jack seemed to take notice of Ariel. No offense. Whatever. She seemed unaffected by what Jack said. Anyway, Jack said as he attempted to move on from the awkwardness of the situation. You bail on us every summer, always claiming to be busy or off somewhere else without even thinking of inviting your friends. Whether you go to your parents' place in Florida or not, that's none of my business. However, I'd appreciate being brought into the equation sometimes. You're always a part of the equation, Marcus insisted, catching a glimpse of Ariel's skeptical eyes. It's like I said, I'm just busy. Well, whether you're busy or not, you'll be joining us on a few of these little excursions. Mark my words, Jack insisted. Marcus remained silent. Secretly, Marcus always admired Jack's persistence. Shortly after, Marcus ordered a coffee and conversed with his friends for a while. He didn't get to spend quality time with them as often as he liked. Fulfilling his responsibilities as Helios required being willing to spring into action when duty calls. It always raised eyebrows whenever he abruptly fled the scene. Jack got used to it rather quickly, but Ariel was still adjusting. He knew it would pass, the same way it did with Jack, but it didn't make lying to them about what he was really up to any easier. He wanted to tell them, but it was just far too dangerous. Marcus had only known Ariel for a short time, and only through Jack, but he had grown to like her, even though he didn't really take to her when they first met. She sported long, flowing dark hair and a set of speckled glasses that amplified her beauty. He didn't have any feelings for her, or at least he didn't think he did. Regardless, he just simply acknowledged her good looks. More so, he always wondered how Jack managed to befriend somebody like Ariel. Regardless, they all enjoyed their time together, reminiscing on the good old days from when they were younger. Marcus met Jack when they were in elementary school. They had been best friends since the 4th grade. Therefore, it made for a conversation that Ariel was unfamiliar with, but Marcus and Jack were quick to fill her in. Suddenly, a convoy of police cruisers went sailing by the window of the cafe, taking Marcus straight out of his trance and snapping him back to reality. He suddenly stood attentively, his back straight as a spire as his eyes glossed over the streets, counting the high volume of cruisers racing by. At first, he thought it could have been a robbery or another mugging perhaps, but his intuition told him otherwise. No, not for that many cruisers. There's far too many, Marcus thought to himself. Immediately, he knew what he had to do. Sorry guys, I have to go, Marcus said as he reached under the table, grabbed his bag, pushed the stool out from underneath him, and jumped to his feet. You can't be serious, Jack spoke in a disappointed tone. You just got here. You can't stay for another half an hour or something? I'm afraid not, Marcus said as he quickly made his way towards the door without awaiting another response. This was fun. We should do this more often, said Marcus as he waved goodbye. He swung the door open, careful not to rip it off its hinges. He barreled back the way he came, shoving his way through the people on the sidewalk, earning him a few nasty looks. Before he knew it, he found himself in the park again, jumping back into the brush he previously landed in. He changed into his suit far faster than he thought he was capable of, made his eyes glow blue in order to hide his identity, and shoved his civilian clothes into the bag. Having assumed his alter ego, Marcus immediately took flight. He brought the duffel bag with him, coming to a stop on top of one of the higher buildings in the area, placing the bag on the roof. I'll be back for you later, said Marcus. He quickly returned to his frantic pace, flying around the city as fast as he could in order to locate the speeding cruisers. His search came to an abrupt halt after he saw where they were headed. Dear God, Marcus said.